The Canadian Forces Snowbirds have been touring the country to raise spirits during this pandemic. But tonight, the Snowbirds are mourning the death of a team member killed when one of their jets crashed in British Columbia. Captain Jen Casey was a public affairs officer with the Snowbirds, originally from Halifax, Nova Scotia, a province touched yet again by tragedy. Tina Lovegreen begins our coverage from Kamloops tonight.
All eyes were fixated on the sky as the Snowbirds took off this morning, but then the unexpected.
He just crashed.
Oh my God!
At first I thought the barrel roll was maybe a trick that the pilot was doing, but seeing the pilot eject and then the plane take a nosedive, obviously it wasn't a trick.
Witnesses took these videos showing two puffs of black smoke coming from the plane. Then the jet came crashing down into the front yard of a house. Halifax-born Captain Jen Casey was on board and died in the crash. She joined the Armed Forces in 2014 and the Snowbirds 4 years later. A former journalist, she worked her way up to public affairs officer with the Snowbirds. The other pilot landed on the roof and survived.
Amazingly, I don't know how he survived. I don't know how he survived that, because I don't think his parachute opened.
Blocks away, Dana Hings and her daughter jumped into their truck and were one of the first on scene.
There were already two other people there, one doing chest compressions.
The debris stretched over 3 different homes.
It was rather flabbergasting to hear the boom go off and come running outside and see smoke billowing out from his house and so on.
Dozens of first responders reacted quickly, and the city also quick to offer assistance.
And so this accident today really shakes us to our core, but we will respond to it in every way that we can.
In an Instagram story posted on Saturday, a Snowbirds pilot said the team was dealing with some electrical malfunctions. They also had said the weather wasn't suitable, with some low cloud cover making it unsafe to fly through. What caused this crash is still unknown and to be investigated.
And Tina joins us now from Kamloops. You've learned more about the condition of the other Snowbird.
We have, Ian, and the Prime Minister offered his condolences to the families as well as to the entire Canadian Forces Snowbird team, adding that for the past 2 weeks they've been flying over Canada, uplifting the nation's spirit during this difficult time. And the other member who was on board who survived, we know that his injuries are serious but not life-threatening, and he has been identified as Captain Richard McDougall, a 34-year-old from New Brunswick, and we're hoping to learn more about his condition in the coming days. Ian?
All right, Tina Lovegreen in Kamloops tonight. Let's go now to Anita Bath in Vancouver. And Anita, you've been talking to experts to get some insight into where the investigation could go from here.
Ian, a team from the Royal Canadian Air Force sent from Ottawa to look into what happened. Key to that could be any communication from the aircraft in those final moments. That could shed light on any problems they may have had. And the fact we know there is one survivor, well, that pilot will be key in the investigation as well. But you can see here the two planes are in formation together, and then there's a problem, and one plane ends up doing a steep climb to a higher altitude.
What you're trained to do is if there is a problem, say with the engine or with power on takeoff, you're instructed to zoom, you're to climb up to as much altitude as you can. You want to convert your airspeed into altitude and then either sort the problem out or if you have to eject.
And in the long history of the Snowbirds, there have been other crashes.
Yes, in fact, before this, there have been 8 other deaths. The planes have been in service since 1963. Over the years, there's been a lot of talk about replacing the jets. In fact, they were once supposed to retire this year, and then a decision to modernize them and keep them going until 2030. Upgrades do happen all the time, and there is a rigorous maintenance schedule. This footage you see here was posted over the weekend. It appears to show those checks happening. Now, I spoke with several experts today. Some say age has nothing to do with this. Others say that will definitely be part of the investigation.
There are airplanes around that are older, but typically those kind of airplanes aren't subjected to a lot of vertical forces. This is one thing that, it's a difficult thing to maintain an airplane that's older, getting parts. The engine itself, when I flew the airplane, was quite a reliable engine.
Now, I actually spent some time with the victim in this crash, Jen Casey, last summer at the Abbotsford Air Show, and I distinctly remember her telling me how grateful she was to have that job and how much she loved the Snowbirds and being a part of that team. This really is a country that does love that team as well, and people across Canada will be mourning with Casey's loved ones tonight. Ian?
All right, Anita, thank you very much.